The thing about life is that you cannot add days to your life, but you can add life to your days. And so how can you live a life that you are proud of? Well, I talk to a lot of elderly people who are over 80 years old and have a lot of life experience, and I've learned a lot about what they are proud of and what they regret. And the same way I share my own experiences of letting you know what my experience has been and what I have been proud of and what I haven't been. And so first, let's understand what is even proudness, because that's very important to understand what it means to be proud. And so usually to be proud, that is the opposite of regret. So when you make an action, you can regret it or you can be proud of it. Of course, it's not so binary, and it's more of a spectrum where you can be somewhere in the middle and it's kind of neutral. That's also a possibility. But usually, the bigger the choice, the more it falls into the binary of regret or being proud of the decision that you made. And so, the best way to be proud of your life is to not have any regrets. And avoiding regrets is probably the biggest key to being proud of the life that you live. And so, what are the key things that people do that they usually regret? Well, as I talk to a lot of elderly people, these elderly people always share the same sentiment. And the sentiment was they never regretted trying things. They never regretted starting a business, no matter the outcome. So they could have started a business and it could have failed. But they don't regret that, because they're proud at the fact that they were brave enough to actually do it and start that business even though there was the chance of failure. And so these elderly people teached me, and I share this sentiment myself when I look at my own life. They've never regretted trying harder. They've never regretted making the hard choice. They've never regretted being different and going down a different path to what everyone else is going down on. Usually the only regrets that the elderly people had was that they didn't do more of that. They didn't do more risky things that other people weren't willing to do. And so the more you take the hard route and you take risks and you do the brave thing that you actually want to do, no matter how hard that choice is, that is how you will actually not have any regrets. And that's how you can be proud of the life that you live. And I share this sentiment a lot. I have never regretted working harder. I have never regretted waking up early. I have never regretted making the hard choice that felt very scary. I've never regretted any of those things. And no matter the outcome, whether it's succeeded or failed horribly, whether that be in making videos or whatever form of life, I have never regretted those decisions that were hard and difficult, because I can always be proud at the fact that I had the balls to try. And so when you make hard decisions, that's how you can be proud of the life that you lived. And it's not just big decisions like whether you start a business or whether you go study what you actually want instead of what your parents want. It's not just the big decisions, it's also the smaller decisions that you face every day. I have never regretted cooking food that's healthy and making a good meal instead of ordering junk food. And I have never regretted going to the gym even though I didn't feel like it. I have never regretted making a video even if it sucked and even if it got 0 views. All of that is completely fine, because always and forever and the rest of eternity I can be proud at the fact that I tried. And you can even think to yourself about this example. Let's say you have 2 possibilities. You either start a business, it instantly succeeds and you get everything that you want. Or B, you start a business, it fails, you start another one, it fails, and you repeat that, and only the 10th business that you start succeeds, and even then you have to grind and struggle for years for it to actually become a big success, but then you get what you want. So either you get instant success or you have years of struggle and then you get the success. And which one do you want? Now, of course, right now you probably want instant success, but everyone knows deep down that they will be more proud of themselves if they go down the B route and they fail and struggle and there's hardship. And then they will be more proud of themselves for doing it because they actually went through hardship. And so a part of being proud about your life is going through struggle. It is failing. It is having the hardship and surviving through it. Because if you have no struggles, no hardship, no failures that you have to survive, nothing that makes it difficult for you, then there is nothing to be proud of when you succeed. And so you need the tough times and the struggles and all of those things for you to even have the possibility of being proud of yourself in the future. And many times, when I talk to these elderly people, they share this sentiment. They agree. They were like, you know what? The proudest decision wasn't the decision that made me the most successful. The proudest decision was the one that made me go through the most struggle. And that's a weird thing for people to say, because when you ask people, usually they want instant success, boom, boom, boom. They want instant results. They don't want anything that takes long time. They don't want any hardship. They don't want any struggle. They don't want any challenges. But it's exactly those challenges that actually make it worthy and that you will actually look back upon and be like, oh, that's what I'm proud of. And so when you're making big decisions, the key rule to how you can be proud of the decision that you've made is by making usually the hard choice, the one that requires more bravery. And you can think to yourself, which decision will you be more proud of when you are 80 years old? And when you think about it like that, it changes your perspective. Because if you think about only the next week, going to a party might seem like the best idea. Because next week you're gonna hear everyone talk about the party and you're gonna regret not going. But when you're 80 years old, you won't even remember that the party existed, but you can look back upon the hard work that you did instead of going to the party and the results that you get from it and that business that succeeded 10 years later because you were building it for 10 years, or that career as a professional athlete or whatever your dreams might be. And you can look back upon those things when you're 80 years old and you won't even remember the party. And I'm not saying that you should never party, because sure, you can experience life, and when you're 80 years old you might regret if you never went to any parties at all. But if you've been to 10 parties this week, then maybe you don't have to go to the 11th one, and maybe you can do something productive. And so whenever you make a big decision, think to yourself, which one would your 80-year-old self prefer? Because in the end, that's where you will end up. You won't stay young forever and you won't stay here forever. So you should do the things that make your future self proud instead of the decisions that make the current you feel a bit of dopamine and feel good. So these are the key things that I learned on how to live a life that you can be proud of. So make hard decisions because you won't regret them. And make decisions that you won't regret. And usually those are the brave things. And you will always be proud of the fact that you had the bravery to try and you were courageous enough to do what you actually wanted instead of what society expected of you or what your parents wanted from you. And that's how you can be proud of the life that you lived. By being brave, doing the hard things, going through struggles, and first and foremost, thinking what your future self would actually want you to do in the current moment of time. And so stay disciplined, chase your dreams, and have a fantastic day.